How you doing? These are my top picks for the new Saga sector. Notice I didn't say the best champion for the new Saga sector because when it comes to MCOC and especially Incursion, it could be very subjective. So these are just my top picks. So I actually made a video already on this, but and I was gonna upload it today. Then I found out there was new hacks in the game, and Kabam didn't tell us. Really, Kabam? So now I gotta redo a video on it, and really, because there's still a lot of hacks in the game. They're fairly new, so I'm not gonna talk about too much about the hacks. I'm gonna talk about the champions that are good in there, and maybe a few of them. What's the best hacks for them with the new hacks that we have now? But if you want a champion that you want to use in Incursion and what hacks to use with them, let me know. Write it in the comment section, and I'll tell you what's the best hacks or the best champions in for incursion. But I'm pretty much gonna tell you the best champion for incursions, or I don't want to say best exactly, just but my option as far as the new Saga sector. So who do we have? Morbius, man. I'm really excited for Morbius. He's get finally get to shine in Incursion. Uh, I already said when his deep dive came out that he's gonna be like one of the best champion for Incursion. I think I had him at number 5 on the list. So I think he's gonna be good. I don't think he's number 5 on the list now, but I'm gonna since Sinister got buffed, but we're gonna talk about Mr. Sinister a little bit later because his signature ability is not working, and what else? Or at least his regen ability is not working. So we're gonna talk about that a little bit later. But when it comes to Morbius, there was a lot of hype with Morbius when he came out, and for me as well, there was a lot of misunderstanding when it comes to his abilities. And you can't even tell from his signature ability what it really does. But so he kind of like people were comparing him to Corvus or like Hercules, and really it's neither of them. Maybe closer to Corvus, but neither really. And it's pretty much like Corvus. Imagine if Corvus never got ran out of charges if he did, and he would never get KO unless he gets hit. That is pretty much what I thought from his signature ability when it comes to Morbius. If Corvus didn't get knocked out until he gets hit, then he would, without a doubt, be the best champion in the game. So that's what I was thinking, and a lot of people thought his signature ability was like that, but it's not that powerful. Uh, Also, another thing about Morbius, he runs really good with damage mastery, and um, not many people run damage mastery. That's why uh, most people think that Morbius is not good. That's why he's underrated, I believe. As well as besides not running damage mastery, I think most people that have Morbius, they got the 7-star Morbius. And I didn't purchase the Platinum Pass, but I know a lot of people that did got the 7-star. I just got him from a crystal. Personally, he's still at rank 1. I can actually take him to rank 2, but he's gonna stay at rank 1 because his signature ability is so important. If I had bought the platinum pass, I wouldn't got the 6-star, and he would be a rank 5, 6 ascended, probably sig 200 by now. But I did just pull him as a 6-star recently. I might take him, awaken him, take him to rank 5 at least, maybe even ascended, but for this event. But if I was using Morbius, it will definitely be Awaken and preferably at max 6 as a 6-star, not the 7-star. So there's a lot of things about him why I think he's underrated because of his signature ability is very important, and most people got the 7-star and they don't have him Awaken. He's also damage mastery friendly. But the problem about being damage mastery friendly, like you can't even tell when it comes to his abilities that it's modified or not. When it comes to Corvus Glaive, you run damage mastery, you're pretty much almost double your damage. Okay? And then if you run max recall, which actually Morbius can, so does Corvus, like you're doubling your damage with max recoil and that with damage mastery. So with Corvus, but not with Morbius. His damage is not double if you're running max recoil. which doesn't really make sense to me. So that's kind of one of those misunderstanding when it comes to Morbius. But I think I'm just excited people that has Morbius and they have him awaken, because his awaken ability is so important, because if the champion is bleed immune, he can inflict a rupture, and the higher the sig, the more chances of them inflicting rupture instead. I mean, like, the chance, because at max it's basically for you to inflict as much rupture compared to bleed, the chances you have to be at max sig. So I know most people don't have them at max sig. That's the problem. And like, also when it comes to his signature ability, it's not quite as good as Corvus. Um, it's like you can take recoil. You cannot get knocked out from recoil, from bleed, from poison, and degen. I don't know anything more than that, but I'm pretty sure like he can get knocked off from incinerate even if you have him awakened, as well as like if you're fighting like electro, which Corvus can take if he had charges. So let's just see some gameplay from Morbius. So I had this video quite a while back, and I was wondering if I should show you guys some clips of Morbius a while back, because some of the hacks I'm using here is no longer in the game. Uh, I don't know. I don't think they're coming back, and we're gonna talk about that a little bit later. So let's do it. You can see it says May 5, so like what, 6 months ago. So I can't show. I don't have the hacks to show you here, but I do believe from the gameplay I do have Defense Cascade, Buff Cornucopia, uh, Hemostatic Charge, and Tide of Combat. So let's see. Keep in mind this is a 3-star, by the way. I don't know if you saw that, but that was 121,000 from a 3-star burst damage in 19 seconds. Okay, if you're wondering, well, I had Buff Cornucopia here. It didn't. Buff Cornucopia doesn't really do much for him. I did get that armor up buff, so you could replace Buff Cornucopia with like, what's that? What's that name? Oh, shoot, it's one of the hacks. That's when your basic hacks. It's kind of funny. I pretty much know most of the hacks, but somehow I forgot it. You could also have Toxic Advancement. That can also, by throwing a heavy, you can like, there's a chance you can get an armor up, but yeah, armor burst. I believe that's what it's called, where you have a chance on your basic attack to gain an armor up buff. So the buff cornucopia doesn't really much. Didn't really do anything here. So they did get rid of buff cornucopia, and which we're gonna talk about that a little bit later. So here, uh, keep in mind here, I was using Venom the Duck, No, and Heimdall, and I got pretty far in Incursion. I don't know exactly what zone it is, but I decided to just, let me try Corvus. I mean, let me try Morbius. So this is no ramp up. I don't even have the Odin free fights, and you can see like this is over 1 million health. I don't have boost. I don't have no ramp up like I mentioned, because he doesn't need ramp up. I don't have Odin free fights. So as you could see from the hit, I hit a parry from Captain America. It did like 30% damage. It's pretty crazy. So good thing, look at that. So good thing about Morbius is he doesn't need ramp up. He doesn't even really need synergies. I think Morbius is the best champion incursion without ramp up and without synergy. I believe if you don't need synergy or ramp up, he is the best champion in incursion, and we're gonna be just show you why he could be, I would say, the best champion in incursion. Look at this. You're gonna see this crazy damage. Boom. Oh, that was perfect. Over 1 million damage. Okay, from that one hit. Okay, over 1 million damage. This is a 4-star without boost, not ascended 4-star. Okay, not ascended. That was over 1 million health. How long did that take? That fought fight take 37 seconds. That's not bad. And also, that special 2 did over 1.2 million damage, and that special, that was that the second hit. did over 1.1 million. That was more than Captain America's helpful. So I do want to say, let's repeat it again. They did get rid, keep it going as well. So that's which is unfortunate. Oh, come on, come on. Okay, come on, let's go. So they got rid of three of the most broken hacks, and I'm going to tell you why did they do that. They pretty much here. Oh, come on. So here I was using for this one I was using hemostatic and tighter combat. Those are the two most important hacks with Morbius. What else? And I was using, I believe it's perpetual offense and keep it going. So they got rid of keep it going, they got rid of strategic movement, and they got rid of buff cornucopia. Those are like the three most broken hacks in Incursion. It is crazy. Like I truly believe they got rid of buff cornucopia is because of Angela and Hela, especially Angela, because with buff corn you get a power gain buff. You can do a 5 hit combo, get to your straight to your special 3. That's how I was able to do a 345 million damage with a 5-star Angela, but be able to throw back to back special 3. Uh, it is just, they knew it was just too powerful in the game, like too broken. So they gotta get rid of Cornucopia and Angela too with strategic movement. When she wins so many fights, her fury buff potency increase, so she can do 100 million damage in if you go far enough in Incursion, and depending on your rank, of course. But with keep it going, and but really in general, keep it going and strategic movement is just really powerful, arguably broken for any champion in the game. So somehow they got rid of it, and they're trying to find a way to nerf Angela and Hela, because that's just how broken they are in Incursion. And like I mentioned, if you like champion that doesn't need ramp up in Incursion, that's cool too. But the best champions in Incursions are the champions that ramp up. The longer the ramp up they are, the better they are, because they have the highest potential. They have limit. Angela and Hela has limitless potential in Incursion because there's infinite zones in Incursion. I understand that not everybody goes, a lot of people don't go past zone 25. In this case, for the Saga sector, a lot of people will likely not go past zone 15, which is understandable. But that's why I said when it comes to MCUC, it's very subjective, because I don't consider MCOC just based on zone 15. I consider it that the zones are infinite. So I look at four champions potential. So what else? What else? So the reason why I showed you this, because he can actually do more damage than this. So if I took out get rid of keep it going, replace it with compounding harm. What else besides that? Compounding harm. Get what else? If you have compounding harm, special counter. What else? What else? Hemostatic and tide of combat. That will do more than 1 million damage without a doubt from a 4-star. Let me say it again. Special counter, armor, compounding harm, hemostatic, and tide of combat. That will do more than the damage you see now. I just showed you this clip because this is the pretty much what you can do with Corvus, with Morbius, with those hacks. So let's go to another one. So this is the one I was using, not against Captain America. I believe this was, this one, all of the hacks here, it's gonna still be in the game. A martial artist, I think, is also a good option for Morbius, because you want to have as much power rate as possible, because you want to be constantly throwing your special attacks. So your rotation is going to be like special 1, special 2. With Morbius, you can increase combat power rate, increase buff duration, and more important, actually debuff duration, because you want to keep those bleed as much as possible, because that's how much damage, determine how much damage you can do from SB2. As well as you want to have plus 4% attack rating for each debuff, because you have fixed a lot of debuffs obviously, and 4% for attack, because You gain a lot of fury buffs from title combat. You want to increase the duration of your fury buff and the chances of them proccing every time you have title combat, which has a 50% chance to gain two fury buffs. The light attack enhancement, I don't know if I would really pick that, but I would probably not my first choice for sure. I mean, but it does increase the chances you can inflict bleed on opponent. Unflinching damage is okay too, but not like I would say the one I would pick the most. But it does help, because you're gonna be unblockable a lot of times from when you have a fever buff. So getting an extra 50% attack, I would say is pretty good. Then having that increase, what do you call it? Come on. So that's the rare hacks. Having that increase potency power sting debuff, that's gonna help him as well as increasing his fear buff potency, of course, and his special 2 is guaranteed critical hit. So having higher critical damage rating is gonna even benefit him a lot. The higher damage, of course. So this one, do I have any? I don't have keep it going here. I don't think so. Which is not it's not longer in the game. So this is just I want to showcase how much a burst damage a 4-star. Keep in mind this is not ascended. Okay, this is not ascended with class disadvantage and no boost. Look at that. Look how much damage did that. Did you see that? Here it tells you 288,000 from a 4-star, not ascended, in 14 seconds. That's over 20,000 damage per second on the damage burst. That is crazy. So how do you do it? How can he do it so much damage? It's because of hemostatic and title combat. Those are the two key ones. If you want to increase your damage even more, put compounding harm. Compounding harm. If you had compounding harm, this would probably been a lot more than 288,000 burst damage. So, the thing about Morbius, he just works so well with with so many hacks in the game, and he doesn't need ramp up. He doesn't really need synergies either, so that's what makes him so good for Incursion. Like, if you really want him awakened, probably at max sig, because if the champion is bleed immune, you can inflict rupture on them. So let's talk about another champion, and as well. I want to say another thing before I end with Morbius. If you like ramp up champion, it's great, but like the best champion for Incursion are champions that ramp up, and which we're going to talk about next is Mr. Sinister. So let's pause the video. Oh, what can I say with Mr. Sinister? He was pretty much the perfect buff that could have been. Because his signature ability, I believe, is not working. Kabam said it's only the regen, but I don't trust anything what Kabam said. So assuming it's only the regen, then he's still going to be pretty good in Incursion. I would not bring Mr. Sinister in Incursion if he's unawakened. He really, really, really like, and the fact that this disappointing, I think I know for sure, and Kabam's already confirmed, and I agree with them. At least his regen from his regen is not working when he wins against science champions. So assuming it's only the science ones that's not working, you want to avoid fighting science champion with Mr. Sinister. We really want him awakened, preferably at max sig. When it comes to Mr. Sinister, it's like I hope he doesn't get nerfed when it comes to Mr. Sinister. I know Kabam's talking about nerfing him, but I just wish he was once they fix him, makes his signature ability working, and they don't nerf him. I just want to show how good he is. I think he's the best champion when he's ramp up. I think without it's not even close, to be honest. He's way better than Hercules once he's fully ramped up. Once he wins 10 fights, but the thing is, you can't really prove it because, like I said, his signature ability is not working, and at least when it comes to his regen, so which is unfortunate. I would rather pick Mr. Sinister than Aegon 999. I'm that confident how good this guy is, but the thing is, he could get nerfed. They're talking about nerfing his regen and stuff like that, which is unfortunate. So I'm assuming if did it did work, that is just so good for the average player like myself. I think if you're like one of the best players in the world, it probably doesn't matter. I don't think probably not gonna benefit you too much when it comes to the regen, especially in like incursion and stuff. So, but I really want to show how good this guy is. But when it comes to, it's just, I'm just so down when it comes to his abilities. It's not working. So hopefully they fix him and he doesn't get nerfed. Okay, let's talk about if his signature ability and when it comes to the scientist not working, do not fight against science champion. Okay, that's pretty much it. And the other hacks you can use pretty much, I would say the cosmic one is probably the most important one to have. I would rather have regen, of course, but it doesn't work. So let's just go on, move on. Best hack for Mr. Sinister. Okay, best hack for Mr. Sinister, I would go with what do you call this? You want to have the small hacks too, the one that increases the stun duration. That is really powerful for Mr. Sinister, as well as degen debuff potency. Increase the degen potency by 50%, as well as increase the debuff duration. So those three small hacks you really want to have with Mr. Sinister, and he's gonna do melt opponent. And draining degen because he's gonna do a lot of heavy attacks, tied to combat. That's also pretty good. Uh, Buckhorn Copias would be nice, but they got rid of it. Especially that his regen is not working from his signature ability. Again, if you don't have him awaken, I would not bring him to incursion. I think, you know, it's like imagine if Hercules without his signature ability. It's just silly. You're not gonna bring Hercules unawakened in incursion. That is pretty much what I think when it comes to Mr. Sinister. I think once he's ramped up, emphasize he's ramped up to have once he's fixed, assuming from his buff details at max sig, and you get 10 charges, he's gonna be better than Hercules. His signature ability is gonna be more important than Hercules than any other champion in the game. I think he's just could have been the perfect buff, I believe, the perfect champion, and he really is the way that he is when it comes to the comics is designed that way. He's like he takes abilities from other mutants or other opponents to perfect his engineering or perfect his abilities. So I can't wait to try, you know, play him when he's supposed to work as he's supposed to be, not getting nerfed. So let me go again. I think what is that? Draining Degen, Title Combat. What else? You can go with what do you call that? Toxic Advancement and Defense Cascade. That's really good for him too because with defense Toxic Advancement, you have a chance to get an armor buff, and you could also inflict poison on the opponent, as well as stun stun the opponent. And I think Defense Cascade, if you can stun opponent with that, is just so powerful. So degen, draining degen, title combat. What else? Armor burst and what do you call that? And defense cascade. He's gonna be so powerful with those hacks. So keep in mind, I forgot. I don't think I mentioned anything about Morbius, did I? So let's go to Morbius. So Morbius, when it comes to Morbius, best hack for him is really there's so many hacks for him. I already showed you like the best hacks for him. Just take away what is that? Buff corn and keep it going. All the hacks that I already mentioned is gonna be good for him. So if I had to give the best hacks for Morbius, I would go with what is that? Hemostatic and title combat. Those are the two most important hacks. And then you gotta have I would say proportional offense and martial artists. You can also go with compounding harm. Actually, compounding harm, preferential offense, hemostatic, and title combat. If and the fifth one is martial artist, and that would be the least one I would pick for when it comes to Morbius. So I did mention earlier that I think Morbius is the best champion in Incursion without any ramp up or without synergy. Okay, I do think without ramp up with synergy, it's going to be Scream. I have some gameplay with Scream that I haven't posted yet, but just gonna give you spoiler alert. With a 5-star Scream, with no synergy in Heimdall, I was able to solo over 20 fights. I don't know how many exactly, like 20 fights, maybe 25 fights, up to 25 straight fights with Scream. And those health pool, I believe all of them exceeded over a million health pool. Pretty much equivalent to like zone 12 to like zone 18 or something in Saga sector. It is just how good she is. And then this hacks. Let's talk about another champion as well. This is another one I would pick for Incursion, and it's going to be, where is she at? Silk. Silk is going to be great for Incursion. Can definitely make an argument with the new hacks that we have. Is going to be the best option for Incursion. I definitely think she's gonna be the top 10 um, best champion when it comes to Incursion, especially with the new hacks now. And when it comes to the new hacks, let's talk about the new hacks. Okay, I haven't gone through there. Come on, not Diablo. So this is the champions I would pick. Now, that's assuming it kind of makes bugs me when it comes to Mr. Sinister. I know his signature ability, at least his regen is not working, but assuming it's only the regen, I still think he is probably gonna be the best option. One of the second best option in Incursion, maybe one or two best option, but you have to have him awaken and max sig. Like max sig is super important. If you don't have him awaken or even low sig, I would not use Mr. Sinister because his signature ability is super important. Okay, now let's talk about quit. See, this is to me is going to be the best champion for Incursion. They just work, I think, really, really well together as well. There's really not much you can do without it. But keep in mind, you want to have Morbius, Awaken, Prevail be at max sig. Same thing with Mr. Sinister. And you want to avoid Science Champions with Mr. Sinister because the regen, at least the regen part of his signature ability, is not working. So if you have any other champions you want to use in Incursion, let me know. I really cannot go through every champion in the game because they're just gonna take too long. It would have been like over an hour video if I did that, so I don't want to do that. So if you have any other champions you want to pick in Incursion, or let me know and I'll tell you what's my pick for their hacks. What hacks could be good for them. So I think these are gonna be the top three. So one thing about I do like in Incursion, especially when it comes to Silk, because she's not damage mastery friendly, is this right here. This is so powerful, and I think there is a bug in the game where you can actually pick this twice. So the thing is, it does work. It does trigger the second time, but it's only the first fight, which doesn't make any sense. So this is gonna be my number one pick for sure when it comes to picking the common hack or rare hack, whatever it's called now. Why is it called common hack? It should be called a rare hack. It's just kind of weird. Maybe you can get it again. So this is the boss hack. So you can see it doesn't make sense. You can pick it again, which doesn't make, which is so weird. Why is that? I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. Okay, so there must be a reason why you can pick it again. Like I said, Kabam hasn't said anything about it, why that's the case. But for, I would say if you're using uh, Silk, go with Title Combat. This thing has been around with Silk for over a year, maybe close to 2 years now. Title Combat with Silk works really well, as well as Keep It Going, but they got rid of it So, what else? What can I say? They got rid of it, but title combat, if and perpetual offense, I would say for Silk. So for Silk, best option I would say title combat is a must. I would not bring Silk in Incursion without title combat. Yeah, she's just not good without it. That title combat pretty much increases her damage like 10 times. In the game. So you need title combat. You also need that 50% stun duration because that you'll be able to stun lock opponent, and that's really important to be able to combine that with title combat with Silk. What else besides that? Professional offense with Silk, but really most champions will work well with professional offense. There's really no champion in the game professional offense is not going to work well, and also this is really powerful for Silk, it's called Toxic Siphon. So for non-damaging debuff, the attacker regenerates 2% of the damage dealt. And she inflicts a lot of non-damaging debuffs. So so if she's not damage mastery friendly, but with this, and she doesn't have any way to regen as well, but with this ability, this is gonna help her top off in the game. Toxic Siphon, if you're running damage mastery. So she could technically be damage mastery even though she doesn't have immunities or regen with this hacks. Toxic Siphon. But really, that what do you call this? Special second chance as well. That is really important. So if you have second chance and toxic siphon together with title combat plus 50% stun duration, you're gonna be pretty much set with with um with Silk. So I think Silk is gonna be great. Oh, come on, man. Come on, dude. Oh well. Okay, so like I mentioned, if you want to pick a champion in here that you want to use, just comment down below because I just can't go through every champion. There's just too many. Um, I already give you guys my top pick. Morbius is gonna be, I would say, my top pick in Incursion, and Silk would be another top pick of mine, as well as Mr. Sinister. Oh, so keep in mind, if you do have Morbius as well as Mr. Sinister, you want to awaken, if assuming it's working, hopefully, when it comes to signature ability, and do not pick fight a science champion, and you want him to be at max sig. So that's really it. That's all I can say. I think Mr. Sinister is going to be, just hoping that he doesn't get nerfed when they fix his signature ability. Thank you.